Hi everyone, my name is Laura Henshaw. I am the co-founder of Keep It Cleaner and also one of AIA Vitality's ambassadors. And today I am here to do a recipe with you. So we are going to be making one of my favorite Keep It Cleaner recipes, which is our Choc banana muffins. They're super easy to make, minimal ingredients. They're family friendly, as in everyone in the family will love them. And I hope you enjoy it. Baking is, for me, something that makes me really happy. And in this time, I think when we're at home and it's really important to find things that bring us joy. And this is something that brings joy to me. If you're watching this and thinking, I hate cooking, I hate baking, it stresses me out, then obviously you don't have to make this recipe, but this is for anyone who really does enjoy baking as an outlet for them. So let's get started. We are going to start, we're going to start with preheating the oven. I always forget to tell you, but I've already done it. So the oven is preheated to 180 degrees and I have prepared a patty pan tray, cupcake tray with patty pans. Now, if you don't have any patty pans, you can actually cut up baking paper and put it in here, or just make sure you grease the pan with oil or butter, whatever you like, olive oil or butter, to make sure they don't stick. But patty pan's super easy, so that is there. We're going to be making 12 chocolate banana muffins. So we're going to start with some eggs. So 2 eggs is what you need. Now, if you are at home and you don't have any eggs, or if you want to make this recipe vegan, you can make a chia seed egg or a flax egg. So if you want to, you can just, if you go into Google or on YouTube, you can see how to make one of those. But for the purposes of this video, we're just going to use normal eggs. So 2 eggs, and then I'm going to add half a cup of milk of your choice. I have got almond milk here, but you can use whatever milk you like. There are a lot of milks available at the supermarket these days, so go with whatever you want, but just make sure when you are buying your milk, my one recommendation would be, and give that a bit of a stir, my one recommendation would be to make sure it doesn't have any added sugar. Because we are very lucky, we have so much choice, but sometimes there's a lot of sugar added into milks that are made, like oat milk or almond milk or cashew milk or whatever milk that you're buying. So just make sure you look out for that. And you know what I've forgotten to do? I'm gonna have to use 2 bowls. This is meant to be a 1 bowl recipe. I haven't mashed the bananas. So when you do make this, mash the bananas first, because then you can use the same bowl. So the riper the banana, the better in this recipe. So as you can see, these are on their way out, which means perfect time to make banana muffins. Now, you need 3 bananas, 3 medium-sized bananas. So these are mini. So I'm going to put in 5, because I think when you add them all up, it'll be equivalent to 3 medium-sized ones. Now, don't stress too much. If you have 2 bananas at home and not 3, it'll work as well. This recipe pretty much works no matter what, as long as you don't put 10 bananas. So try and keep it around 3 medium-sized bananas. So just get all that in there. And of course, the riper they are, the easier they are to mash as well. All right, so there you go, get rid of this, and then grab your fork and just mash it. Now, you can mash this roughly, because then depending on how you like your muffins, if you like them super, the bananas super blended and no banana chunks in the recipe, you can actually put all the wet ingredients into a blender and just blend it. It takes 5 seconds, but I like to keep a few banana chunks in my muffins. That's my favorite consistency. So I'm going to lightly mash, like rustic mashing, I suppose. There we go. So this is what I've got, just like that. Okay, so I'm going to add that into the bowl. So if you, as I said, if you mash the bananas first, you would have only needed 1 bowl. And then you add the milk and the eggs. So mix that together. Perfect. Oops. Then we're going to add the dry ingredients. So today I am gonna, oh, one more wet ingredient, Greek yogurt. So in this recipe, we are not using any oil or butter. Not that there's anything wrong with oil and butter, but just in this one, we're going to use Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt is actually an amazing substitute for oil and yogurt, for oil and butter in recipes. So we are going to use 2 heaped tablespoons of Greek yogurt in here. Perfect. Again, just make sure it's unsweetened Greek yogurt. And if you don't have any yogurt at home, that's okay. You can use 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, olive oil, or melted butter. All right. So just mix that together. Now it's time for the dry ingredients. So we are going to add 1 cup of flour. Now I've got tapioca starch today. This is a type of gluten-free flour. You can use whatever flour you like, but what this one is, this is not a self-raising flour. So if you use a self-raising flour, I'm about to add some baking powder as well, so just don't add that in because it's already in your flour. But if you're using a plain flour, a spelt flour, a wholemeal flour, whatever you want to go with, whatever you have at home is fine. Just don't use coconut flour unless you're really experienced with it, because that is the one flour that is, you can't substitute one for one, and it makes your cakes very dry, so just don't use that. So 1 cup of flour in there, and I'm also going to use 1 cup of almond meal. If you don't have any almond meal, that's okay. What you can do if you have almonds is you can just put them in the blender and make almond meal, blend them into basically like a flour. Or this would work as well if you, almond meal makes them really moist and delicious, but it's okay if you don't have it, because you can just substitute it for flour as well and make the whole base of the recipe with flour. But if you are doing that, I would recommend doing 1.5 cups of flour in total, not 2. Okay, so mix that up. You could also use hazelnut meal. There's lots of meals these days. Whatever you have at home will work. So mix that together. This is looking beautiful. Then we're going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Unless you've used self-raising flour, then don't worry. In it goes to make them rise. And then we're going to add our sweetener. Now, because we are using, one of my favorite things about using banana in recipes is that it gives the recipes a beautiful sweetness already, so you don't actually have to use much sweetener, which is awesome. So all you need is 2 tablespoons of sweetener. Now, I would usually use rice malt syrup. You could also use honey. What else could you use? Maple syrup. You could use raw sugar as well, that's fine. But I don't have any, so I'm gonna use a monk fruit sweetener today, which is another type of sweetener that you could use and tastes really great in baking. I just bought this from the supermarket. So 2 tablespoons. Mix that together. Now, at this point, we have 2 options. You can either add some chocolate and make it banana choc chip muffins, or if you're in more of a banana bread kind of, you like cinnamon and things, you can go down that path too. So you can either add at this point a teaspoon of cinnamon and 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg to give it like the banana-y muffin taste. But if you want to add chocolate, you don't need to add any of the spices. I'm going to add chocolate. Now, with the chocolate, I don't have any baking choc chips at home. That's okay, because I really, actually, to be honest, I never do. I always do it this way. So I buy a block of dark chocolate. This one's Lindt. You can use any chocolate. You could use milk chocolate. You could use white chocolate. But I just find if you want a lower sugar option, usually the darker the chocolate, the less sugar is going to be added. So this is 100 grams. So depending on how chocolatey you like it, up to you how much chocolate you're going to add. I am going to add 4 rows. So nearly the whole thing. So about 80 grams of chocolate like this. I'm just going to chop it up. Now, depending on how you like your muffins, you can have big chocolate chunks or you can cut it really fine. Totally up to you. I need to watch. I'm watching you guys instead of watching the chocolate. I just got to be careful I don't chop my hand off. Okay, so I have chopped all the chocolate up. I've gone with medium-sized chunks. And then I'm just going to put this into the bowl with the muffin mix, the banana muffin mix. Okay, there we go. And then just mix that together. Yum. Perfect, so we've got beautiful batter consistency here. And then all you need to do is spoon this mix into our pre-prepared patty pans and then put it into our preheated oven for around 25 minutes. So between 20 and 25 minutes. I would recommend filling, it depends how big you want your muffins as well. So if you're making mini ones, then obviously they will cook through a lot quicker. I'm going to fill them up to about here for each one. So it's about 2 heaped tablespoons of mixture per patty pan. And then make sure your oven is on fan forced. So I'm going to fill these up, put them in the oven, and then I'll come back and show you the end result. Alrighty, so the muffins smell like they're ready. They've been in there for about 25 minutes. So I'm going to get them out. They look beautiful. Here we go. So with your oven, obviously everyone's oven is different, but they just need to be golden brown and cooked through. Now, you need to leave them to cool, especially with the almond meal. I know it can be super tempting to eat. Eat them straight away, but make sure you leave them to cool down for about 20 minutes before you get into them. But I'm just going to show you what it looks like inside right now. Look at that. Yum. Delicious. Such an easy recipe. I hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you so much for tuning in. Any questions, leave them below. I can pop on and answer for you. Yeah, I'll see you next time.